curved, converging, and diverging parallel lines. So when we do this one, I personally always start somewhere towards the middle here. And I'm going to start my lines like that. Again, you can start your lines looking very, very different. The idea is that you're going to see that as you do this, you want some of your lines to run together at some points, and other times you want them to run parallel with each other. So, you know, sometimes the lines are going to touch, so sometimes they're going to converge, and sometimes they're going to run parallel to one another. And then I'm going to just continue to kind of follow that pattern. Oops, as I wobble a little. As I am making my marks. Now the interesting thing is, so now we kind of see that we can't kind of go back in there because these lines have all converged together. So you'll start to see your composition change. And I always, you know, start back where I began because that's the way my brain thinks. But I've definitely had some students in the past who have been able to have their go back and forth across their composition. So they're able to start from this corner here and move back. That's just not the way my brain works. So I'm a very linear brain. So even though I'm an artist, I need to work in a very methodical fashion. And again, I would recommend doing this in pencil. And you're going to see that these shapes kind of start to morph and change as you are working and drawing more lines with one another. You'll see that some things naturally come to an end and you're not able to draw in a particular section anymore because you've run out of space. And again, notice when I'm doing this, I am sort of picking my pencil up at various points, which is completely allowed. You don't have to keep your pencil on the page the whole time if that is something that helps you maintain control for this one. There are other ones of these that you can't pick your pencil up, but for this one, some of this will feel very familiar to you because it'll feel like something that you maybe did in your Zen line design. I'm kind of coming up, whoops, to the edge there of my binding. So I'm just going to imagine where I finish that, and then and I can even just continue working perhaps in this one section until I fill it completely up. And then I'm going to maybe come back in and finish this one. And then so for the lower part here, I'm actually going to do another set of lines for myself. And then because my brain works right side up, I don't want to try to work upside down. I'm actually going to spin my project around, which remember, you can do. You can move your book. There's no rules against, moving your book. So I'm going to start here. Moving your book is not cheating. It's, making your brain work easier. We don't need to make our brains work harder when a simple spin of the book would do the trick for us. And, you can even flip your book over when you're drawing those initial pencil lines too. Sometimes it's nice to force your brain to work in a way that isn't natural for it, perhaps. Makes for some interesting things. But other times we just don't want to have our brains think that hard. So again, like the last time, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to fill in that space that's almost filled. And then I'll do the same over here on this side. And again, some of my lines are touching and sometimes they're running parallel to each other. So they're curved, converging, and diverging parallel lines. And I love the evolution that happens with some of the shapes as you're working. Okay, now we just have this center area to fill in. So again, picking where you decide you want to work. And again, you might have some issues working around that comb, but that's okay. It just feels a little weird to be resting my hand on the comb as I'm working. Okay, and then I'm going to spin this back around and work on this side. Oops, sliding off the screen just a little bit. Okay, so, and then I've just got this last section here to include. I'm just going to kind of go back and forth here until all of my lines meet. There we go. That is the converged